Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Trigger for episode number 4. I'm your host, Zachary Clark, and with me, as usual, is my co-host, Adam Furman, and I'm coming to you live from the desolate surface of the moon. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing okay. Doing
Yes.
okay.
Just okay?
Yeah,
It's Friday
I don't know.
night. You should be
What do you
like
want?
3 margaritas in by now.
Yeah. Well, those margaritas are each 25 ounces, so that'd be like 75 ounces of 8%. No, I wouldn't be able to be here and form coherent sentences.
That's quitter talk. Well, we got a good show lined up tonight. There's been some interesting things happening in the news today, and some fun resolutions to some mysteries.
Oh, resolutions?
Oh yeah, so it's gonna be a real good time. Not only that, we might even talk about the postal service again. I know that's a hot topic nowadays.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's sort of weird. I mean, I guess the president's trying to steal the election away from the Democrats who are trying to steal the election away using the mail.
Who's gonna steal it first?
Who indeed? Let's find out tonight. One interesting thing I did say, apparently the mayoral election is going to be next year. I didn't know that. For some reason, I thought it was the same cycle as the governor of our great state, and it would be in 2022. But apparently not. And apparently next year we're going to get this guy running. 17-year-old high school senior running for mayor of the town. Brennan Hills as a Democrat. I dug into his platform a little bit. It seems like he doesn't have much to say about anything. It could be because he's only 17 years old and he doesn't know anything.
And it could be.
But who knows?
It doesn't know anything. I mean, he hasn't been hit with the freight train that is life. Is I think what you mean.
Maybe he'll distinguish himself in the election. Hard to say, though. I did read in the article that apparently Mayor Moore hasn't decided if he's going to run again. And so he thinks his candidacy and the chances of him winning are largely dependent on if the mayor runs for re-election again for a third term. Goes all FDR on us.
Yeah. Yeah. Do they have debates on local debates? That'd be fun to see.
I don't think so, but that would be interesting. You know what I say? Like
it would be interesting.
Yeah, I would go to those. We'd have to have our Triggered Media correspondent go to the Quincy mayoral candidate debates.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's kind of unreliable, but yeah, we would have to see if he can get up off his butt and do it.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, it's freaking worst. But he did fact check all the stuff for this thing, so if anything's wrong, it's not our fault. It's that guy. But
no,
I do say
yeah, be him.
Going all FDR on us, but I did see the other day. So, and I don't know, because I could swear that this guy had died. But for my hometown of Molnir, the very hammer of Thor, there's an old guy who's a retired high school teacher, Mr. Kneep. And I was, for whatever reason, I can't even, what it was. It was that there was a fire in my near the other day, burned an apartment building. And the news article I read on it referenced Mayor Kneep. And I'm like, that's got to be his kid. There's no way Mr. Kneep is still alive. If so, he's been mayor for like 70 years. If anybody in chat knows
Was it him?
if Mr. Kneep is still alive and still the mayor of Minear, please let us know. Gosh. But that's not the only local news in the news today. But the fallout of the president's call to to boycott Goodyear tires was hitting home for our very own Titan wheel. Titan wasn't very happy because they were afraid they were going to lose a bunch of business because they manufacture the farm brand of Goodyear tire, apparently.
Yes. Right. It's like, hey, we're Goodyear, not that Goodyear.
Yeah. It's not the same.
It's a whole different thing.
Still buy our tires. It's a different.
Yes.
It's a different brand within the same.
Yes.
Within the same,
please look at the. I don't know. It's like, please pay attention to the President Trump sign out in front of our factory that's been there for the past 5 years.
We don't support any of that social justice nonsense. People should just be respectful. I don't know. I don't buy farm tires from anybody, so I'm really not in this fight.
Yeah. But there's a lot of farmers around here that do.
That's true. But whenever I need tires, I go get them used at the Delta Tire Warehouse down on your block.
Oh, yeah. Out on my block?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like $10 for a quote, new to you tire.
I got like almost a brand new tire there for like $50 one time. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's great. I actually, since that's right down the block, I'm not going to say who, someone popped the tire, and and so it was like, so I had to bring the van there, and it was like, you know, I guess I could have taken the tire off, but I figured it was right down the street, so I was just, it was right rolled up there. I'm like, hey, can you guys change this? They're like, yeah, we heard you coming.
Excellent. Hey, and they got you fixed up.
I just like.
It's weird because I think that might be where they ship off their convict employees, because they weren't allowed to process my credit card there and all sorts of weird stuff.
Oh, it could also be like a terms of service violating some merchant.
Yeah, I don't know. Thing. They might have what like you have to pay extra to have a second card processor thing.
Yeah, or one of those second HD boxes if you have Comcast or whatever.
Yeah, who knows? I had to run to the ATM and get cash money. Who carries cash money nowadays? Tell you what, not me.
Did you get that receipt?
Receipts? That's how the government tracks you.
Yeah. There was I had to, a little bit off topic. I had to, for a landlord-tenant course that I took in law school, I had to visit eviction court. That was an assignment. I had to, and then write a one-page reaction paper. And so I decided to do it on the day I didn't have any classes, which was a Friday. So I went to, I can't remember if it was maybe DuPage County Courthouse. And I went in there, and it was pro se defendant day. So for those of you who don't know, those are the defendants who represent themselves. They don't have an attorney necessarily. And so one of the ladies who were being evicted, she rose a stink because her landlord was there, and the judge was given questions about, or how far are you behind on your rent? And she said she wasn't behind at all. And he's like, well, then why are we here? And the landlord said that she was behind. And she goes, nope, I paid all my rent. My rent's all due. My rent's all paid up in full. And The judge goes, okay, do you have receipts for that? And she goes, no, I don't have any receipts. He's like, why don't you have any receipts? Do you have like check stubs or check images for that? And she goes, no, he only accepts cash. And he's like, oh, so then you do have the receipts? And she goes, no, he doesn't issue receipts. And I'll never forget the look on his face when he turned to the landlord. He's just like, is this true? And the landlord nods. He's like, yeah, I don't issue receipts and I only accept cash. And he's like, no. Case dismissed. No eviction. You need to change your practices. There's no proof. No proof she's not paying her rent.
Injustice happened that day in that court, and that poor landlord was unduly put upon by that scandalous lady. She took advantage. She knew that when she went to court that day and said that there was no proof she didn't pay, that she was
irate that she was there.
I feel like that's the most of the people that are in court. They are not very happy about having to take the day and do stuff. I got to get off work early and go to the court for a 15-minute status hearing.
Oh no, she was all done up. She had, she was one of the most dressed up people there. She was ready to fight.
If she can afford all that fancy clothes, she can afford to pay her rent on time.
Well, she did.
We don't know if she did.
Or at least,
they don't.
That's what the judge decided, so that's what happened in fact.
No, he just found that an eviction wasn't warranted. Because whatever the standard of proof, the burden is likely on the landlord there. I don't know. I've never been to eviction court before.
That was my only time.
There's interesting stuff. And as part of the COVID relief, I think that they made some procedural changes to the pleadings to make it even more burdensome on the landlords. But it was something like, I thought this was already the case, but I guess I was wrong, that along with your petition to evict or whatever, you have to include all of the exhibits of the notices and the dates on which notice was given in order to comply with the housing laws. If you didn't know.
Yeah, you already have to do that.
You already have to do that. That's what I thought. And then JB was up on there. He's like, this is going to make it way better for...
Unless it's just like a best practices versus local rules and whatnot. But that's, I mean, honestly, that's what, when I've crafted them, I would put those in exhibits, because how else are you gonna? I mean, you want to? I don't know. I want it done fast. Like, I want it all in one package. Here's your petition with everything in it. Here's all the proof. We don't have to put anyone on the stand or anything necessarily.
Yeah. So I guess it was all sham. Oh, JB again. He got us. Oh, that JB Pritzker.
Oh, that.
Well. In good news, you may not have seen this, but this was right off of the scanner. Ronald McDonald.
We really need our guy to get on with that soundboard.
Oh my gosh, he was looking at soundboards and they were all terrible and they didn't have anything that was good. So we're just going to have to make our scanner. Scanner radio. I pulled off this article, followed up the mysterious Ronald McDonald beheading.
Oh no!
The mystery solved. It was an idiot child who was trying to pull a prank, moving the Ronald McDonald statue, and as he did, the head broke off. So he was all afraid. As soon as the head broke off, he snatched it and ran. This all sounds made up to me, by the way, but this is what it was. Anyway, he felt guilty, turned himself in, brought the head back, reattached. I think it's a false flag operation, because the Ronald McDonald statue proprietor said he wasn't going to press charges. A child doesn't need this crime following him around. Now everybody's talking about his statute and him. He's in the news twice in a week.
Yeah, well, we had that hard-hitting piece last week, so...
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that this is a scam. What they're doing is they're making it up. It's all lies.
What is real? I don't know.
We're like a man in a cave, man, and we're like looking out of the cave, and then it's like those things we see, man, from inside the cave. That's
Yes,
like
the
what
shadows on the grass
we think's
are
real,
the things.
man, but it's not
The
really
shadows on the
real.
grass, as we stand, and the sun passes over us. The shadows on the grass are actually us, and we are the real zombies, or something.
Zombie by the Cranberries
I don't know.
with their
What's
tanks
in your head?
and their bombs and their bombs and their guns in your head.
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Zombie by the Cranberries. Well, I mean, I don't know. As far as crimes go in the area, though, this is pretty mild. Unlike the other crime that happened, quadruple homicide.
What?
Did you hear about that lady? Ran a light going down Broadway, ran into her car, killed a bunch of people. They, old Gary Farha fired up the grand jury and got indictments for first-degree murder.
That was actually surprising because it's a high burden.
That's what I said,
I don't know.
as you can see.
I cannot see that. It is very small on my screen. I cannot read that.
Old Matt here, he works
if I lean forward, it's going to look like I'm using...
There you go.
I still can't read it.
Matt Hopf. Breaking. An Adams County grand jury has indicted Natasha McBride on 4 counts of first-degree murder in connection with last week's crash that killed 4 people. The grand jury also indicted her on several other charges. They had lesser included. There's like reckless homicide included too when I read the article. So I think that they're just trying to do a thing. But I asked him, do you know the grounds for the first-degree murder charge? Because I'm like, I don't know if it's possible to prove intent from any kind of traffic accident unless you're like running up on the curb to intentionally try to ram somebody down. If you're like charging your car into a protest or something like that. If you're just driving on your phone or whatever, not paying attention, speeding too fast and running a red light, it's like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to hit somebody. That's why I think first-degree murder. So I thought maybe it was some kind of felony murder thing they were doing.
Well, right, that or, I mean, I can't read what he says. Maybe it says,
he says
that if there's something connected to any, like, illegal substances, we could elevate the charges, but I don't know about first degree.
No, it couldn't. How could it elevate the charges if you're high to better form intent?
Because I don't remember. I was tainted. My expertise and my knowledge of criminal law has been forever tainted based off of my law professor who
she's a brilliant
taught
woman.
us erroneously. No,
brilliant woman.
It was all wrong.
Taught us everything.
I thought it has to deal with something with like you intended to use the substance and then you committed a crime, so the intent goes to yours. Anyways, what does he say?
He clarifies, and he says that traveling at a high rate of speed and violating a traffic signal would create a strong probability of death or great bodily harm.
It does not sound like first-degree murder.
That's what I thought. I don't think they can get her on that. But
no, that sounds like...
yeah, it's just... At worst... I think you could do that. Second-degree murder would be... You had the intent to kill or whatever, but there was some extenuating circumstances that mitigate you down from first degree. Like you caught the guy in bed with your wife. Passion murdered. Second degree.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill him. That's exactly what I wanted to do. It was intentional, but it was because I was so enraged.
Right.
Here, and for those of you who don't know, first degree murder requires intent to kill. And intent can be found either by showing that a person's had like a target and they were trying to kill him, like, mob assassination style, first degree murder. Or if you take a gun and you shoot at a crowd of people. Yet you maybe not had any intentional target, but you knew that there's a strong possibility if you did that, you're going to shoot somebody and they could die. First degree murder. If you're driving down the road, I guess I don't know. Let's imagine this.
Explain felony murder too.
Felony murder is first degree murder. If you're like committing a burglary and then you shoot some homeowner and kill him, first degree murder.
Yes. What is it? If you cause the death of a person in the commission of a felony or something, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that the deal?
A forcible felony. So
Forcible
other
felony.
than second
So
degree
not
murder.
counterfeiting.
If you commit second degree murder, you can't count that as the forcible felony for a first degree murder charge.
No, you're stealing an $500, $700 phone from an elderly lady on a train platform.
And she
you
falls.
Yank it from her hand.
And she falls
off the platform and dies.
First degree
felony murder.
Felony murder charge.
Felony murder.
Yeah, well, it's first degree murder, but colloquially.
It's like it's fast track to first degree.
Yeah, but so I guess here's what I would do, and I could see this. I guess if you would fix the scenario, so take out all these messy real world facts and unknowns and unknowables, because I believe some of the article talked about how she claimed she was not paying attention and was on her cell phone at the time, etc., etc. Really establishing all the hallmarks of acting recklessly, but not with intent to kill, or with intent to do something that was specifically so dangerous that you knew it would kill somebody. But let's say you were driving like 100 and you saw a red light and you weren't planning on stopping, and you intentionally ran a red light going 100 miles an hour. I think that you might be able to get there. It's very strange, though.
Yeah. No, there's I don't know if you remember this. There was a couple, and maybe it happens every now and then, but I definitely remember in law school, there was a handful of cases in like instances in Chicago where there were cars that would turn around on the interstate and go the wrong way at high speeds. Like,
it happened to me one time.
I mean, that's kind of.
I didn't go the wrong way, but I was driving on the interstate. I'm like, well, those lights seem awfully close. So, oh my gosh, they're on this side.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. Probably drunk or whatever. I called the 911. The lady told me that, they're already on it. So, whatever.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. We got it.
Yeah. She was probably tired of people calling her about it. Oh, jeez, this idiot. Now I've got like 90 calls. All these people driving past him. All right, we know.
Just unplug the phone for dispatch. We're not accepting any more calls tonight.
No, my store's being robbed. Shut up. Hang up.
Let's watch some. I'm gonna watch some primetime now.
Finally. That's the good stuff. It's just like the panel's completely lit up with people calling. Actually, 911 dispatchers take their jobs very seriously, very dedicated part of the law enforcement team. Wouldn't want to disparage any of those people. But I will disparage this guy. Chicago police are searching for a man who has stabbed 4 homeless men, 1 fatality since early July. We have a serial killer on our hands in the city of Chicago. And he's on camera. This is the guy. If you've seen this man, please report him to the authorities.
Do not approach him.
No,
he's considered armed and dangerous.
He has a knife, obviously.
Yeah.
Unless you know jujitsu or something.
Or you're a lawfully concealed carry citizen. You can make a citizen's arrest. I've heard those things exist.
No, you never want to do knife versus gun. I've heard about those scenarios. It's like if you're within 15 feet, you're dead. If they've got a knife, they just charge
15 feet?
Yeah, they can close the distance faster than you can pull the gun and shoot them.
Yeah, what was that? The Irishman, right? Al Pacino. If they've got a knife, you run away. If you got a gun, you charge them.
Yeah.
Not actual advice.
Right. Well, you got to back up real fast. We have a commenter who says, "Gun beats knife," and I'm gonna text back in here. No. Exclamation mark.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's not rock, paper, scissors.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because it's a very dynamic situation. But if they can get to you before you can get a round off into them, and even then, depending on how you shoot them, what's going on?
1 round? You know, depending on what you've got, you might need you might need 9 or whatever, because 9's the max, right? No more than 9. Or that's not in Illinois yet.
Extended clips and whatever that are banned, because who would need 9 rounds?
Oh no! What do you need more than 1 bullet for?
Are you such a bad shot that you can't hit a guy? I just pull out my dangerously sawed-off shotgun that's like this long. But it's still a shotgun, so I count it as a long gun. Like Dennis Leary in Demolition Man.
Okay.
Have you seen the film Demolition Man?
I have not. No, I have not seen Demolition Man.
Man. This was a Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone vehicle.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's really good. It's like in a post-apocalypse but utopian society. It even has Sandra Bullock in it. It's really good. Super corny, like 90s action stuff going on.
Nice. Those are the best.
Excellent film. Kids out there, if you don't know, now you know. You gotta look that up. That film's great. We talked about this the other day. Old Ren and Stimpy and how terrible that show was. I didn't like it. So they're like, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy reboot will reimagine the Nicktoon more than 2 decades later.
How do you reimagine garbage? I mean, I don't know. It's like, oh, guess what? Here's a cat. They're actually in a cat box right there, aren't they?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How do you? Oh, I can't use that now. How can you reimagine a cat box? It's automated now, I guess. You don't have to touch it.
I don't know. I imagine it will be absolute trash, and they're just trying to cash in on the member berries. You guys remember Ren and Stimpy? You liked that show when you were 10?
No,
Watch it now, 40-year-olds.
I was. I couldn't. I was not allowed to watch that. Probably for good reason because I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 when it was on. But and you're a kid, it's a cartoon, so it's meant for kids, right? And I remember being like, "Oh, I want to watch it." I was told I can't watch it. And then like later on, when I became a teenager, there was like reruns on some like I don't know, it was syndicated somewhere, and like, oh, I'll watch it. I'm like, this is disturbing and it's trash and it's garbage. That's coming from like a 14, 15-year-old. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, I absolutely didn't like the show. But this again, just like that Fresh Prince reboot, I don't know who this is for. I don't know. I
Dark and gritty, Red and Stimpy.
yeah, if you're targeting the Gen Xers or whatever that are watching Ren and Stimpy, I'm like, well,
they're getting neutered.
I think a lot of like 30, 40-year-old people got better stuff to do than watch a worse version of the show that they liked when they were a child. And I don't know if you know this, but oftentimes you'll rewatch something and it does not hold up. And I'm guessing.
That is accurate.
I mean, I haven't watched old Ren and Stimpy in a while, but I think for what it was on one of the streaming platforms, and I think I tried to watch a little bit of it, and I'm like, well, maybe this was good.
It was a waste of time and brain space.
It wasn't good, so I don't know. I don't think that I just don't understand why they keep doing this. Is it because they could be doing a thing? I guess it could be like I saw, and there was a controversy about a new animated show, and they're making all these animated shows that are for grown-ups and stuff, and they have like potty mouth stuff and adult themes, and if they're doing that, they're like a dirty version of Ren and Stimpy, like dirtier, and they use swears.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It's just grotesque. It's weird. I remember a weird scene of just like them eating their pee clump from like the cat box. It's just a weird like.
That's gritty.
That was actually. If you've ever cleaned a cat box, you know how disgusting it is. Anyways, to just clean it. It's just disgusting. I don't know.
You gotta do it. We got 2 cats.
And
there's a lot of feces.
Around. I thought I remember reading that none of the original members. Is this that show? I can't remember. Is it that none of the original members were going? Oh yeah, because they tried to reboot that. I don't know, like 5 years ago or something, right? On Spike TV.
Reboot what?
Ren and Stimpy. Unless I'm confusing with another one.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
I don't remember that.
None of the original people will be on there, and I don't know. I don't know what the point is. Maybe you said nostalgia berries or whatever, nostalgia bucks.
I don't know who they're trying to cash in on. But it only makes sense to me in that context. If they're doing like going adult theme and making it like dirty. And it's for all these people that are watching these adult-themed cartoons that are out on the Netflix and stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
I can see that. We got some more comments. We got one comment here that says, Wesley Snipes. Bobo had a Nino Brown action figure. And I think that's amazing. Nino Brown. Wesley Snipes action figure. It's wonderful. Wesley Snipes is a wonderful action hero.
Okay. He is. I'm not discounting that.
What are you trying to say? Are you dissing Wesley Snipes on the Trigger Media podcast? Folks, I'd like to announce right now that we're looking for a new co-host on the Trigger Media podcast. Someone that really respects Wesley Snipes.
No, the guy gave me... Our assistant gave me the wrong talking points.
Oh, that guy. But then I saw something about...
I'm not dissing Wesley Snipes.
Blade was
Good.
great.
I haven't watched that still, but
You have not watched Blade?
I've not watched Blade. No,
That's weird. Blade's a
it is.
good movie.
I've heard nothing but awesome things about it.
You know what I've heard that isn't awesome?
There's a lot.
this
Pick your
news.
poison.
This Ren and Stimpy adjacent news. Apparently, the original creator of Ren and Stimpy was a pedophile. And
Of course. There's no. Oh my gosh.
And he apparently used his platform to to lure in children and victimize them. And one of the victims of Ren and Stimpy's creator says that rebooting the show is a disservice to the people that were victimized because seeing Ren and Stimpy on TV will help them relive their trauma. I said,
Hey, you know what?
I said,
Whatever
this is
gets
a
the
great
show
argument
canceled.
for keeping it off TV.
Yeah, it's trash anyways. And it actually goes to prove that trash begets trash. So
Yeah, I thought to myself, because generally I'm like, how does a TV show created by, it's like, I don't know, I guess it makes sense. Having not been a victim in such a way, it's hard for me to understand. But I guess it's like every time Macaulay Culkin hears Thriller, same situation, I suppose.
no,
No?
probably not.
Well, you never know. Like I said, unclear to me. You don't want to contribute to this part of the conversation.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be of. It seems a little. The logical jump seems a little. I don't know if it's. I don't know if the guy's getting any money from any revenue from that. The reboot, because then I could see how that would maybe be like he should be punished because of his crimes. A disservice to the victims. It's I don't know. It's a disservice to honestly, it's a disservice to anyone and everyone to have that show up, as I've mentioned before.
Whatever, not that 37-year-old housewife right now sitting at home drinking her Moscato spritzers or whatever. She ran out of episodes of Dance Moms to watch. She's like, I remember Ren and Stimpy. This justifies me dropping $20 a month on my Netflix subscription.
Okay.
I don't know why they do things. I don't know how the business model exactly works either. How the exclusive, non-exclusive titles, and then you have to create a library that's incentivizing subscriptions. They don't have any ad revenue or anything or whatever. But they have to buy stuff to put on there. But at the same
one of their
time,
flagships. Go ahead.
I don't know how you get paid as a creator. They buy your show, but it's valuable for you to be on there in the first place.
Right.
So it's almost like you could almost charge them to get on your platform if you had like imagine Netflix 6 years ago or whatever before streaming services took off. Like, oh, you want to be on Netflix? People see your movie? All right, you gotta pay us $10,000. We'll put a little picture of it up here, and people can see it. We'll give you 10 cents a view.
Yeah, I don't know, because it seems to be like they're. You mentioned the content generation, and it's just like that's its own channel. It's NBC or whatever. Instead of Matt Lauer, they have someone else. I don't know.
On demand, though, Adam. You can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. Then you can
Yeah,
sit
well,
there
that's how
all day and
everyone else is going on demand too.
eat 7 bags of potato chips.
Yes, I was just thinking of the Doritos and the soda.
Oh,
Just
gosh.
just nestled right up there. You
Back in
just
the
give
back in the day, I had to drop $5 to watch one 2-hour VHS tape.
What, a Blockbuster?
We didn't have Blockbuster. It was the hardware store. Schnook's hardware store had a video
Yes.
rental section. Backed by the Lazy Boy
Nice.
recliners.
We only did the library. It wasn't. It's like, hey, can we go to Blockbuster? No.
I don't know if our library had
There was a
any.
place next to the grocery store. I can't remember what that was called.
I don't know if our library had any video media.
Oh, we had like 5 or 6. They were on like the giant turnstiles, and you had they were fitted nicely. You had to look up the video, what one you wanted, and then get the number off of that, and then go to the turnstiles and flip through, and then try and hope that it's in numerical order as they say they are, then try and find it.
You're like a library video watching aficionado, though. So you go from way back. Did you know that they have the library even has a video renting streaming service called Hoopla? You can get on Hoopla and you can check out a movie. The library has a digital copy and you can watch that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're limited to like, at least here, you're limited to about like 4 titles a month, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I thought
And
it was whatever you have outstanding. You can only have so many outstanding. I didn't know there was a limit on the number of shows you could watch on
it might have changed. Yeah, you got to be careful. That's at least that's what I used to be not too long ago. So like, if you wanted to watch 4 episodes of a show, then oops, wait till next month. Like, get like digital comics and stuff off of there. Whatnot. You can get books too. Audiobooks. That's fun.
They have pirate versions on YouTube of just some schmucks reading stories. Sometimes I just stick one of those on and I go to sleep at night. I'm like, some rando reading the Silmarillion? Sign me up for that. That'll put me out. Oh, the chat's blowing up. Oh, there's a bunch of reminiscing about Schnook's True Value, the hardware store in Benear. And they do remember that it was right next to the recliner chairs in the back. Fuzzy Clark comments, they sold mailboxes even though Minear did not have house delivery. And that's true. They sold everything. It was a general store. But they had mail delivery out in the farming rural communities, Eugene.
They did have mail? The post office worked?
Yeah, the post office, they didn't have house-to-house mail delivery. You had to have a post office box. And then you would go to the post office and pick up your mail if you lived in town. If you lived in the rural, outside of town, then you would have mail delivery. But poor victims of the Ren and Stimpy creator led right into me finding that people are just now realizing that child sex trafficking in the world, and particularly in this country, is actually a problem.
Yeah.
That there's actually a form of slavery happening where people are being trafficked from across the globe to satisfy the sick desires of monsters and their depraved
Absolutely.
predations. And nobody
Yeah.
really was talking about it until crazy people got a hold of this. And
Definitely.
it creates this weird situation. For example, there have been rallies nationwide about a commendable thing to rally about, ending child sex trafficking. I don't know anybody who would be against that.
Well,
But,
the slavers would.
well, obviously, but the apparently there's a thing out there called QAnon. QAnon. I don't know much about this, other than offhand
Me either.
references on a couple Joe Rogan podcasts I've seen, and there was that Pizzagate situation where that guy showed up at that pizzeria with a rifle like 2 years ago or whatever it was.
Right.
Anyway, so this lady on the Twitter says, Save the Children rallies are being held in some 200 cities. Before you pick up a sign or read about them in credulous local news coverage, know that they're just in real life QAnon events. And I said, much like a protest to end oppression at the hands of overzealous police officers, that if you went out on a rally and you were saying, we need to end child sex trafficking, I don't think just because there is a handful of people in the crowd shouting insane things like Tom Hanks is running a child sex cult wherein they eat the children to absorb their youth to maintain their longevity for years and years. Just because that guy's in the crowd, that it would deprive your righteous and noble endeavor to draw attention to and demand action on this this thing, that it would
Yeah.
be wrong. So there's this weird pushback. And if you don't know, you can see how it would directly fuel into these QAnoners who think there's some grand conspiracy of
The media
child human
covering it
trafficking.
up.
Yeah, it's like, look at all these people. They're saying that people rallying and protesting against child sex trafficking are just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. See, they're after us. They want to shut us up and silence us. See? And it all
Yeah.
feeds into it. Just
No,
did a search. What? Go ahead. Before I start jumping
No,
into
go
the
ahead.
next thing. Then the next lady
Oh,
just did a search for events like this in Central Illinois. Sure enough, there was one in Peoria
yes.
6 days ago. And WBD
Oh, no.
News covered it as if it was a harmless rally of concerned citizens, with no mention of Q. But if you watch the video, you can see Q symbols and hashtags on their signs.
That's true. You can see that.
These people, they shouldn't be out there demanding that the government or whoever do something about ending child sex trafficking because there's a couple of people holding QAnon signs in the crowd.
Yeah, it really. It's like, yeah. I don't know if you didn't know any better. This. It seems that the goal of these big journalists, big media, not us small guys here at Triggered Media, but big media are trying to stifle, noble causes like speaking out against human trafficking. I looked at the Peoria news coverage of it, and they actually had an article on their website. And if you look into it, I don't know, it's something that anyone can look up and read. The organizer of the event, she had her child last year, I believe, or a few months ago, was nearly abducted in front of her, and that's why she organized this. So she says, so she claims, and she said that once that happened, she did the research, and she didn't realize how prevalent it is. The child, the human trafficking, particularly with children. She said she had no idea how prevalent it was, and I don't know. I think it's one of those instances, and I don't know your thoughts on it, Zach, but it's like one of those. It's so depraved that maybe people want to just kind of like look the other way. Like you can't even believe that it's so bad.
When I see something
I
that's
don't
so
know.
depraved like that, it's the opposite. I sort of want to get everybody around me to take up arms and go find these bastards and roast them.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know, right? You know that I'm in the foster program. I do foster care and stuff, and there's a small community here of foster parents, and you hear stories and either through training or with other foster parents, and if you were to say like, oh, have been in conversations where it's been like, oh yeah, and then and this happened. You're like, where? It's like, oh, in town, in our town, this thing happened. It's like, yes, it happened. I don't know what else to tell you. Oh, are you sure that this wasn't a visitor from out of town coming into our town? Like, no, it happened, and this person's born and raised, and they're degenerate. I don't know how else this thing happens, and people need to be more aware. And hashtag save our children.
Yeah. That's just a QAnon hashtag that's trying to promote conspiracy theories. Here's what you can do. Every time there's a noble cause and some conspiracy theorists try to attach themselves to it, you can ignore those insane people and say, regardless of the fact that somebody's trying to co-opt Pepe the Frog or whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that the underlying thing is bad.
Oh.
It's like
if why don't they? This is my thing, right? So it's like QAnon's bad, and they make all these wrong, outrageous claims about X, Y, and Z, and they're bad. And by the way, they're bad. It's like you could have used the time and energy. Well, it would have required more time and energy to do some some research for yourself and say like, oh, QAnon is wrong because of X, Y, and Z. That really does happen, in fact, and they might be right about this noble cause and that this thing exists. And then you put out the facts in there, and I don't know how best to protect your children. It's none of those articles. It's just like tearing down QAnon as some conspiracy theory, and also Orange Man is bad.
Yeah, Orange Hitler has supported QAnon people in the past, and so it's wrong. And no matter what, we can't talk about it. But I never understood why this isn't like front page news every day. It really makes you wonder what the hell is going on. There's children being snatched right in front of their parents, being sold into human slavery in our very country.
Yeah.
And most people don't even know about it, know that it's happening. And that's just like these weird isolated incidents where they're snatching kids. You hear some of these stories about these gangs that are like coercing teenage girls into having to work for them and this stuff, threatening to murder their families if they don't abide by it. Yep. And they're just like, I don't know. I feel like we don't need to report on that stuff that's happening.
Yeah. Hush, hush. Let's not tell everyone that this is happening on your block.
It's the same thing. It's like you watch the news and you think they're like, oh, it's a slow news day. We're just going to report on this random dog that was running down the street. Or I don't know what the heck they talk about.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
And it's like, are you serious? You can't be serious. I'm not a journalist, and I don't have my, tendrils out there identifying all of the absurd stuff that's happening in this country. But like we talked about last time, there's insane political corruption. There's human trafficking. There is still a war going on that this country's involved in like 3 or 4 nations, and that is hardly ever in the news. I don't even see those headlines talking about how many people died over the weekend or whatever anymore.
What happened to those?
I don't know.
They had them all the time up through the Bush years.
Yeah, I don't hear about that anymore. Those guys are just whatever. That's just the new normal, I guess.
Nope.
Some more soldiers died, and we don't need to know about it or what's going on in Afghanistan anymore.
Nope. No pictures, no names, no nothing.
Yeah, this is all nonsense. I can't abide this. But the media's fine. They're the bulwark against oppression, etc., etc.
Yeah, they have
Whenever anybody
special,
says, whenever anybody says the news isn't doing a good job, those people are just trying to silence the fourth branch of government. Why are you doing this to me?
Okay. Oh, you're stroking out. Hold on. Let me call dispatch. Hopefully they didn't disconnect.
Hashtag triggered. It's in the name of the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't get it. It's like the calling the thing fake news, and it's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. This is garbage. Oh, hey, don't go out. There's this Save the Children rally. I'm talking about advocating awareness for human trafficking, and which, by the way, it's obvious for obvious reasons. Can't get a good number on the people who are being trafficked, but apparently, the very accurate estimated count puts the number at people who are currently being enslaved either through labor or sex work at more than all other times, other human eras combined currently. So like I said, I don't know how they came up with that number, but that's to try and think about this. That's what people put out there. Like, this is how many people are currently being trafficked. you know your history books, and you hear about all the various forms of slavery that existed all throughout human history. Combine all those, and that's what you get today. Oh my gosh! Yeah.
That's not news, Adam. What? You want us to take away from Trump said mean thing at press conference?
That's well, that's the other thing too is there's a lot, and because there's a lot of stuff that happened. I can't even remember when it was. Probably last year with the it's been memory hold with the quote kids in cages stuff. People come across coming into the United States, and they have kids with them, and you don't know. That's part of how, like, the human trafficking rings. You bring in kids. You don't know if the kid coming with the guy or the girl or the couple. You don't know if they're theirs. You don't know any of that stuff. It could be the next batch of children that they're gonna traffic around the United States. Slip in, and then those kids disappear.
Right, and that's why those people that were objecting to that particular thing sort of went too far. It's like, okay, I mean, I get it that you don't like the pictures of these people being put in like dog kennels and things, and I agree.
Right.
But I think that has more to do with the volume of people they were trying to process than whether or not they should be processed. Yes, you have to know who they are and what they're doing and what exactly is happening, particularly if they're making asylum claims or whatever else they're trying to do. They started putting them up in hotels, and people started objecting to that. And I'm like, you can't win. There's no way to win that game. So you just have to kind of ignore these people that are trying to say that for whatever reason. This is monstrous. Not since FDR interred the Japanese has such an grievous sin been committed against people in this country by detaining migrants on the border for processing and intake. And I'm just like, this is why no one can take you seriously, because you say this nonsense that doesn't make any sense. You go too far, and then people say, obviously what you've just said is not sane. You can't apply that rationally. You just let them go. Maybe not detain anybody. Take away all the immigration laws and the border. I mean, okay, if you want to do that, but the laws are still in place right now. You can't not enforce the.
Yeah.
And so you say stuff like this, and there's like, okay, I can't take anything you say seriously now.
You know, Zachary, I distinctly remember a proceeding in the U.S. Congress that happened back in last October, November, December, January. I can't remember the actual month, but I was told several times over that no one is above the law, not even the U.S. president. No one is above the law. So law must be followed. The rule of law must be followed. No one's above the law.
This is true. But you're not supposed to enforce the law in ways that are mean.
Oh, wait, whoa.
That child's been in this country for 20 years. If you deported them, it would be mean.
Child?
Yeah, they came here when they were 1 or whatever, and then 20 years have passed, and they've lived in this country, and so then deporting them would be too mean. How could you enforce the laws that Congress controls and could change at any time? As they're written, it's so mean.
Oh my gosh.
Change the dang laws, you idiots.
The people griping about it have the power to do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like every time Nancy Pelosi gets up there and objects to the dreamer fiat that Obama issued because Trump tried to repeal it. And then the court said he couldn't because he didn't follow the proper administrative protocols for enacting or repealing rules.
For repealing it.
Yeah.
For repealing it, yeah. Even though the way it was enacted was questionable in the first place.
Yeah. It's been in effect for a while. It's the norm, rulemaking processes, etc., etc. I just don't know, man. It's whatever politics is nowadays is just not actually doing anything that would fix the thing. It's fixing, and it's been like this forever. I remember some stuff like this. Why wouldn't politicians get together and come to some compromise on abortion rules? Why wouldn't they come together and come to some compromise in solving these intractable issues that we seem to bring up every election cycle? It's because they don't want to solve them because they wouldn't give them things that they can fight about then. And I don't know if this is just the cynical thing where it's like, well, we can then use that to play off of each other and then keep this system going that just enriches us and doesn't never do anything. Or if it's that thing that they're like, well, we don't want to compromise. It's going to be all our way or no way. And if we keep this going, one day we'll have the power. One day we'll have the presidency, both chambers,
we'll have the power,
Congress, and we'll pass all these crazy laws that we want to get done the way we want to get them done. And there'll be no one to stop us. And they even get that sometimes. Was it the first term of President Obama? The Democrats had the
He got
presidency,
the
both
first
chambers
2
of
years
Congress.
because he got a couple extra seats because of the voter turnout and the and stuff swung his way pretty drastically. So yeah, he got like I think he got a super majority
He
for
did. He had it all, man. And then they don't
those
realize.
first 2 years.
And I don't know, because I like to say that they didn't realize, but I don't know if they do or not. As soon as you do that, the same thing happens. Like if we didn't have two parties, right? There wasn't an opposition party and a majority party or whatever. If there was just one party, they wouldn't all agree all the time. There would be defections
No,
then, and there would be stratification within the party itself. And so you can never
yeah,
do that. There's never a time, there will never be a time in a liberal democracy where you're going to have unity of thought to such a degree, like they would have like in communist China, for example, where the party dictates and everybody must follow or they'll take a quick helicopter trip.
yeah,
But I don't know. It's like evil or dumb. And then
right.
I
I think it's more dumb, honestly.
And then I always default back to we're all just like a bunch of incompetent swarm of ants doing whatever we're programmed to do. Anyway, we're getting on a bit here. There's one thing I wanted to cover before we left our current running coverage of the unrest in the great city of Chicago. In latest news, the great mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, was upset because there was going to be protesters on her block. Oh my gosh, these protesters, they could pose a threat to the mayor and her property. So she needs to say that there aren't a lot of protests on her block. And I said, other than this being gross hypocrisy on the position that this person has taken regarding protests throughout the city, and regardless of the fact that this is a gross violation of First Amendment rights of people to peacefully protest, this is one of those things we talked about would not be an appropriate time, place, manner, or restriction. No, you just can't protest around the mayor's house anymore. Why? Hand-waved safety issues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not even her house anymore. It's like the block.
Yeah, this whole block, you can't protest on it anymore. It's just coming on the heels of all of this nonsense. So, old Mayor Lightfoot, I don't know if she's going to make it. She's on a bit of a roller coaster ride these days.
Oh, definitely. I don't know if she's
as are we all, of course.
It does not seem like she's got Chicago governed as well as, former mayors like Mayor Rahm.
Oh my gosh,
Emmanuel.
That's because I believe that he was having people offed.
He was having people. Oh, there's no organized crime in Chicago.
He was a kind of a scary guy. I don't know.
I would say he was stern. I don't know about scary.
I'll say this about.
He's like the uncle you go to. He's the uncle you go to when you have a problem, and he takes care of that problem.
Yeah, what's that sound like?
You can even call him Uncle Rom.
Yeah. I will say she was thrown into a situation, right? It's like, all of a sudden you're dealing with like riots and unrest, pandemics.
Yeah.
Not being invited to beach parties.
She might have higher political aspirations, which is why she took such a strong anti-Donald Trump stance.
I don't even remember any of that. I just remember the whole thing.
She didn't want Donald Trump's goons. U.S. Marshals in the.
Oh, with the federal agents coming in and quelling the violence. Yeah. I see. Yeah.
that erupted even more after
They
And
didn't need him.
have they? Are
She got on
they still
TV with the
raising the bridges
governor.
every night?
I
I think they're still raising the bridges every night so that
they can't get downtown.
disrupts. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
what a mess.
She got on TV with the governor and said that the state police agencies had it under control. We didn't need any federal agents coming in there and rabble rousing.
No,
This is, by the way, the same governor that got on TV and was crying at the start of the pandemic because federal government daddy didn't come in and pay all the bills and give them all the stuff they needed. Oh, Trump's not helping us fight the pandemic. Oh, I'm the governor of one of the most powerful states in the country, and I want someone else to do my job for me.
I don't know. Maybe he should sell more toilets or whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's got all these extra taxes he doesn't want to be paying. Talk about examples of rich guys doing whatever it takes not to have to pay an extra dime in taxes.
Yeah.
It's not livable. It doesn't have any toilets in it. You paid a guy $2,000 to pull all the toilets out of there. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's no corruption in Illinois politics. It's all made up.
No.
By the conservative leaning media.
He has the gall he's got the gall to tell Mr. Speaker that if it's true that the bribery and corruption's true, he needs to step down.
Yeah. Well, let me just pull up that clip of him on the phone with the governor, the old governor, the one that was in prison.
Oh, the old governor! Oh no! I was talking about when he told Mr. Speaker that if the corruption's true, he needs to step down. And the Speaker stood up and he said, "So it's treason then," and pulled out this lightsaber.
He just looked at him and he sucked his very soul out of his eyes. I told you I met Mike Madigan one time. I shook his hand and it was cold. Cold to the touch.
Yeah. Did he have a reflection?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have my mirror on me to test that.
Well, I guess are there any real photographs of him? I mean,
I'm in a photograph with him. I have it someplace.
Oh, okay. So that rules out vampire.
I don't know. They think they can be photographed. They just have no reflections and sparkle in the sunshine.
No, that's that's fan fiction, vampire. That's not the real.
I'll tell you,
that's not the real stuff.
Like I've said, that universe, if you follow the rules, is interesting, and I think that she could have done a lot more with it. The old Twilight universe. It's just like Harry Potter.
Yeah, wait 20 years and then there'll be Twilight rebooted, dark and gritty.
She's coming out with a new one.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't have. Does it have
like Midnight Sun
after?
Or something like this.
No, that's been like for 10 years.
No, it's coming out. There was Breaking Dawn was the last one, and now that she's coming up with a new one, it's called Midnight Sun. Pretty sure about this.
No, that's
good thing
from before. That's yes, that was her thing, right? She was going to do that, and then she sent it out to like her beta readers or whatever, and they posted it online.
It's got a pomegranate on it. It's right here. Boom. From the web. Midnight Sun. 8/4/2020. It just came out.
What? A pomegranate?
I don't know literally anything about this. Other than I saw it.
Let's see.
And and I said to myself, my Twilight fan fiction, High Noon, Alexander the Demon Blade, available on my blog.
Oh my goodness.
Was probably the best Twilight story that I've ever read. But you take into account all the rules and you can do interesting things. You can And it's just like it shows this bizarre lack of creativity within the world of the individuals residing in it. And it's like nobody thought that you could probably use some sort of flamethrower on a vampire. They're like highly flammable in this story. Like they could just like put a match to them and they go up like kerosene in a couple scenes.
Yeah.
But they're fighting each other with like teeth the whole time. I'm just like, this is strange. It doesn't make any sense. And similarly, in Harry Potter, it's like, okay, magic's fine, and I'm sure they're quick on the draw. But if you had a sniper rifle with supersonic ammunition, you could probably take out Voldemort. Why didn't they have?
Yeah.
And the lack of they were doing a thing I don't completely understand, but where they never developed technology in the wizarding world because it was all they used magic. They don't need dishwashers.
Yeah.
They've got magic. I'm like, okay, that's nice, except for magic costs you whatever it costs you to do it, and something's just more
Cost your
efficient.
soul, Zach.
And it's not that they didn't have it because they existed in a world where Muggles developed technology. So cell phones existed. Hermione's parents were dentists.
Yeah,
for
there
God's
was
sake.
anti-electronic spells or some garbage, but you get into that where you could do some interesting stuff to have like machinations and stuff, and like you could have but you get into like steampunk style or gaslight style literature, and it kind of departs from that. I don't know. It made for better CGI for the movie adaptation.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. There would be a smart guy who would find ways to incorporate, whatever modern technologies that those Muggles were coming up with into their thing. And Twilight had its own little vampire army whose whole shtick was going around murdering other vampires for stepping a toe out of line. And these guys, they even had descriptions of vampire wars and things. And in the entire
it was
history,
really cool.
in the entire history of all of that stuff, no one said, "Hey, you know what we got?" I don't want to alarm you guys, but guns exist. We could probably shoot them. I don't think that would work. Our skin's so hard. Yeah, but we catch fire like a book of matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, recommend. Look up my blog. It's leisureandfervor.blogspot.com, and you can read my Twilight fanfic chapter called Alexander the Demon Blade, Twilight High Noon. It will be
Zach, you
published.
should put that in the link in the description.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that one of these days.
No,
Anyway,
you should do it with it.
Anyway, folks, that's our show for tonight. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handles are conveniently located right below our portraits, and the Trigger Media Twitter account is located right there in the middle. Subscribe, like, and share this video around to all your friends who might enjoy it, and all of the Twilight commentary. You know, any
Oh no!
any twihards out there that might really enjoy this conversation about Twilight and how good Twilight is? Share this video with them. I'm sure they'll enjoy it. I know Adam does. He's the biggest twihard I've ever met.
I've read the books. They're okay.
Oh.
I've read worse.
And on that, no. One more trigger for the night. That's our show for tonight, folks. You have a great night and take care. Bye-bye.